Welcome to Principles of Marketing. We will be looking at Chapter 12, Services and Nonprofit Organization Marketing. Chapter 12 learning outcomes include discussing the importance of services to the economy, discussing the differences between services and goods, describing the components of service quality and the GAP model of service quality, developing marketing mixes for services, discussing relationship marketing and services, explain the internal marketing in services, describing nonprofit organization marketing, and discussing global issues in service marketing. Make sure you read the chapter and review all module content. Let's get started. Services' unique characteristics is that it is intangibility, inseparability of production and consumption, heterogeneity, and the perishability, making marketing much more challenging. Elements of the marketing mix need to be adjusted to meet the special needs created by these characteristics. For the service organization, the product offering is intangible and consists in large parts of process or series of processes. Product strategies for service offering include decisions on the type of process involved, core and supplementary services, standardization or customization of the service product, and the service mix. Services processing can be placed into one of four categories. People processing, which takes place when the service is directed at a customer. Possession processing, which occurs when the service is directed at the customer's physical possessions. Mental stimulus processing, which refers to services directed to people's minds. And information processing, which describes services that use technology or brain power to direct at a customer's assets. The service offering can be viewed as a bundle of activities that include core services, which is the most basic benefit the customer is buying, and a group of supplementary services that support or enhance the core service. In many service industries, the core service becomes a commodity as the competition increases. Thus, firms usually emphasize supplementary service to create a competitive advantage. An important issue in developing the service offering is whether to customize or standardize it. Customized services are more flexible and respond to individual customers' needs. They also usually command a higher price. Standardized services are more efficient and cost less. Instead of choosing either standardize or customize a service, a firm may incorporate elements of both by adopting an emerging strategy called mass customization. Mass customization uses technology to deliver customized services on a mass basis, which results in giving each customer whatever he or she asks for. Most service organizations market more than one service. Each organization's service mix represents a set of opportunities, risks, and challenges. Each part of the service mix should make a different contribution to achieving the firm's goals. To succeed, each service may also need a different level of financial support. Distribution strategies for services organizations must focus on such issues as convenience, number of outlets, direct versus indirect distribution, location, and scheduling. A key factor influencing selection of a service provider is convenience. An important distribution objective for many service firms is the number of outlets to use or the number of outlets to open during a certain time. Generally, the intensity of distribution should meet but not exceed the target market's need and preferences. Having too few outlets may inconvenience customers. Having too many outlets may boost costs unnecessarily. Intensity of distribution may also depend on the image desired. Having only a few outlets may make the service seem more exclusive or selective. The next service distribution decision is whether to distribute services to end users directly or indirectly through other firms. Because of intangible nature of services, many service firms have used direct distribution or franchising. The location of a service most clearly reveals the relationship between its target market strategy and the distribution strategy. For time-dependent services, such as airlines or physicians, scheduling is often a more important factor. Consumers and business users have more trouble evaluating services than goods because services are less tangible. In turn, marketers have more trouble promoting intangible services than tangible goods. 4 promotional strategies that they can try include stressing tangible cues. Tangible cue is a concrete symbol of the service offering. Using personal information sources. This is someone the consumers are familiar with or someone they admire or can relate to personally. Creating a strong organizational image. One way to create an image is to manage the evidence, including the physical environment of the service facility, the appearance of the service employees, and the tangible items associated with the service. And last, engaging in the post-purchase communication. This refers to the follow-up activities that the service firm might engage in after the customer transaction. The unique characteristics of service present 2 special pricing challenges. First, in order to price a service, it is important to define the unit of service consumption. For example, should pricing be based on completing a specific task, or should it be based on time? Second, for the services that are composed of multiple elements, the issue is whether pricing should be based on a bundle of elements, or whether each element should be priced separately. A bundle price may be preferable when consumers dislike having to pay extra for every part of the service. Alternatively, customers may not want to pay for service element they do not actually use. Marketers should set performance objectives when pricing each service. 3 categories of pricing objectives have been suggested. Revenue-oriented pricing focuses on maximizing the surplus of income over cost. A limitation to this approach is that determining cost can be difficult for many services. Operation-oriented pricing seeks to match supply and demand by varying prices. Patronize-oriented pricing tries to maximize the number of customers using the services. Prices will vary with different market segments. Ability to pay and methods of payment are offered that increase the likelihood of purchase. A firm may need to use more than one type of pricing objective. In fact, all 3 objectives probably need to be included in some degree in the pricing strategy, although importance of each type may vary depending on the type of service provided, the prices that the competitors are charging, the differing ability of various customer segments to pay, or the opportunity to negotiate price. Services are performances, so the quality of the firm's employees is an important part of building long-term relationships with customers. Employees who like their jobs and are satisfied with the firm they work for are more likely to deliver superior service to the customers. It is critical that service firms practice internal marketing, which means treating employees as customers and developing systems and benefits that satisfy their needs. A nonprofit organization is an organization that exists to achieve some goal other than the usual business goal of profit, market share, or return on investment. Both nonprofit organizations and private sector service firms market intangible products, and both often require customers to be present during the production process. Nonprofit organization marketing is the effort by the nonprofit organization to bring about mutually satisfying and exchanges with the target market. Some examples of nonprofits include private museums, theaters, schools, churches, all fall under nonprofit. Although these organizations vary substantially in size and purpose and operate in different environments, most perform the following marketing activities: identify the customers they wish to serve or attract, explicitly or implicitly specify objectives, develop, manage, and eliminate programs and services, decide on prices to charge, schedule events or programs, and determine where they will be held and where services will be offered, and communicate their availability through brochures, signs, public service announcements, and advertisements. Like their counterparts in business organizations, nonprofit managers develop marketing strategies to bring about mutually satisfying exchanges with target markets. However, marketing in nonprofit organizations is unique in many ways, including the setting of marketing objectives, the selection of target markets, and the development of appropriate marketing mixes. Nonprofit organizations do not seek to make profit for redistribution to owners or shareholders. Rather, their forces are often in generating enough funds to cover expenses. Most nonprofit organizations are expected to provide equitable, effective, efficient services that respond to the wants and preferences of multiple constituencies. Nonprofit organizations cannot measure their success or failure on strictly in financial terms. There are three issues related to the target market that are unique to nonprofit organizations: empathetic or strongly opposed targets. Nonprofit organizations must often target those who are apathetic about a strongly opposed to receiving their services. Pressure to adopt undifferentiated segmentation strategies. Nonprofit organizations often adopt undifferentiated strategies by default. Nonprofit organizations are pressured or required to serve the maximum number of people by targeting the average user. And complementary positioning. The main role of many nonprofit organizations is to provide services with available resources to those who are not adequately serviced by private sector organizations. As a result, the nonprofit organization must often complement rather than compete with the efforts of others. Many nonprofit organizations are explicitly or implicitly prohibited from advertising, thus limiting their promotion options. Nonprofit organizations have a few special promotion resources to call on. They can use professional volunteers, sales promotion activities, or a public service announcement. A public service announcement promotes a program of federal, state, or local government or a nonprofit organization. They do not pay for their time or space, instead, it's donated by the medium. There are 5 key characteristic distinctions that the pricing decisions of a nonprofit organization from those of a private sector. The pricing objectives: many nonprofit organizations must be concerned about revenue. Often, however, nonprofit organizations seek to either partially or fully defray costs rather than achieve a profit for distribution to stockholders. Nonprofit organizations also seek to redistribute income, for instance through taxation and sliding scales fees. Moreover, they strive to allocate resources fairly among individuals or households or across geographic or political boundaries. Non-financial prices: in many nonprofit situations, consumers are not charged a monetary price, but instead must absorb non-monetary costs. The importance of these costs illustrated by the large number of eligible citizens who do not take advantage of so-called free services for the poor. Indirect payment is through taxes, is common for marketers of free services, and separation between payers and users. By design, the service of many charitable organizations are provided for those who are relatively poor and are largely paid by those who are better off financially. And last, below cost pricing: virtually all private and public colleges and universities price their services below full cost. Global issues in the service marketing. The international marketing of services is a major part of global business, and the United States has become the world's largest exporter of services. Competition in international services is increasing rapidly, but many U.S. service industries have been able to enter the global marketplace because of their competitive advantage. The first step towards success in global marketplace is to determine the nature of the company's core products. Then the marketing mix element should be designed to take into account each country's cultural, technological, and political environment. I want to thank you so much for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to send me an email.